What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Stack. I'm Alex.
What's up? I'm Pete.
And on The Stack, we talk about a bunch of books that have come out this week. And oh boy, it was a big week for comic books.
A lot of great comics.
A lot of great comics, a lot of big ones, and a really big one that we're going to talk about right off here, which is Ultimate Spider-Man number 24 from Marvel, written by Jonathan Hickman, art by Marco Checchetto and David Messina. Spoiler warning for everything we're going to be talking about here in The Stack, so tune away if you don't want spoilers. But this is the final issue of Ultimate Spider-Man, the flagship title of the entire Ultimate line. It was a little delayed, but we are picking up here with Peter Parker facing down against Kingpin and Mr. Negative. Meanwhile, his son, Richard, and the new Black Cat are trying to take down Kingpin's entire network so that they can become invisible and come back home and live. And it all gets wrapped up here. Or does it? Well, it kind of does. Pete, you seem pretty psyched about this one, so take it away.
All right. Well, first off, what an ending. I mean, just beautiful, powerful, team MJ and Peter all the way. This is just really great. I absolutely loved it. Crazy Kingpin ending here. That was, I did not see that coming. So that was kind of, that was interesting. But yeah, loved the art, had a blast with this, started clapping as soon as I finished reading it.
Wow. Let me ask you a question. Let's say there wasn't a page at the end with MJ and Peter together. How would you feel about this book?
I would say the Kingpin stuff was very cool, and I didn't see it coming.
All right.
But I probably wouldn't like the ending as much. You know what I mean?
Interesting. I mean, obviously, it's part of it. I get that. Like, I'm not dismissing that in any way, but you are...
Because it happens in the comic. You know
it happens in the comic, for sure. I would say I was very whelmed by this issue. I liked it. Ultimate Spider-Man has always raised a high bar for the entire line. Yes.
I just want to, so I want to be able to understand you and follow along. When you say you were very whelmed,
I was whelmed.
Like, you were like, I'm so fucking whelmed by this comic. This is fucking great.
I said I was whelmed. I wasn't underwhelmed.
So fucking whelmed, man.
I
just
wasn't
whelmed up.
I wasn't underwhelmed. I wasn't overwhelmed. I was just whelmed. And what I mean by this
But the way you said it sounded like maybe you were a little bit more hyped than a whelm. You know what I mean?
Nope. I thought this was a solid issue of Ultimate Spider-Man. It had a nice wraparound in terms of the conversation between MJ and Peter. I thought it was nice that they gave it enough room to wrap things up. Something I'll speak for myself. I've been complaining about a little bit with Ultimate Black Panther and Ultimate X-Men, is those did not feel like last issues of this title. This at least came closer while still leaving it open for the sort of forever story of Spider-Man, and there's even teases about what could happen next, which to me felt like, okay, you're still also not ending this, though again, that might be nod to, well, the battle is never ending, which is fine. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens. It's tough for me to separate this from the feelings I'm starting to have about the whole Ultimate line, which is a little bit of confusion and frustration about how this ending is rolling out. But taken as a whole, this issue, good art throughout, really enjoyed the characterizations.
I would say great art.
Good art throughout. I don't think this was the strongest that Marco Checchetto and David Messina have been in the series. I do think the Kingpin fight was good. I like the conversation with Kingpin.
How about
Mr. Negative?
The panel with it's Green Goblin's mask, and you're seeing two characters fight in the reflection. I mean, that's great art.
There's good stuff throughout here, but again, there is a very high bar that has been raised with Ultimate Spider-Man, and this hit that bar without vaulting over it. Did I use the sportsman? I know the Olympics are going on, and you're a professional curler, I believe, Pete.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations on the bronze. Was it?
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
I'll
great.
take it.
Anyway, this hit the mark, but it didn't surpass it, is I guess what I'm saying. That was my general feeling about it.
on the counter side to that,
please.
I thought the art was really impressive. Also, the kind of Venom and those panels were just, I thought, so very kind of powerful, felt very epic for the title of Ultimate. So I felt like, the art kind of did at least live up to the name. I felt like there was some really, huge panels that were kind of very action driven and kind of awe-inspiring. So, but I'm also a sucker for, a certain ship, and the fact that I got this also kind of put me over the kind of top as far as...
I like that. I think my general impression is that I wish the book was a little more focused. Something that I've talked about all along is Peter Parker feels like the minorest of characters in Ultimate Spider-Man. And a lot of this is about him, not so much growing up, but accepting his age, something that he talks about in the latter half of this issue. We also get a very nice flashback to when Peter and Mary Jane realized they were pregnant with their first kid, which I thought was nicely done.
Yeah,
but because Peter Parker was so side to so much of going on here over the course of these 24 issues, I don't think it quite had the impact for me when we finally narrowed in and focused hard on Peter Parker in this last issue that I would have wanted, because there were so many other characters that were given more shine and were more interesting. Like the stuff that popped for me more was Harry Osborn and Gwen Stacy. That was interesting. The stuff that popped for me more was Uncle Ben and J. Jonah Jameson being like, well, we did it. Are we going to stop typing? And then JJJ giving him a look and be like, that's what I thought. Yeah. Those were some nice cappers.
Some great moments.
Well, we spent more time with those characters. So when it was the end of the book was about Peter and Mary Jane, I was like, I guess that's what it was about. But was that what it was about? I'm not sure. I don't know. We spent more time I felt better about Richard kissing Black Cat because we spent more time with that relationship than we had with Mary Jane and Peter.
How dare you? I think one of the nice things about Spider-Man is that the other characters are so interesting that you can spend a lot of time away from Peter and not get too this doesn't...
I generally agree with you, but I agree with you in the continuity of the main universe, in the continuity of this new Ultimate Universe that is 24 issues long and done now and over, according to Marvel. I wish we had focused in a little better. That's all.
Okay. Well, I disagree. I thought this was awesome.
I disagree. I also like this. Moving on. Absolute Batman number 17 from DC Comics, written by Scott Snyder, art by Eric Canete. This is the first of a two-part arc that is bringing on Absolute Poison Ivy. And another banger issue of this book is Batman fights his way to the top of a building that's taken over by Poison Ivy. Here's something that is sort of contrast to what I usually say that you get annoyed at me about. This issue didn't match the cover, and that's great. And what I mean by that is I was a little bummed out when they depicted Absolute Poison Ivy on all the covers as a sexy lady. And so far we've gotten Black Mask, who was a little skeleton freak, and then we amp things up with Joker, who is a dragon, and Bane, who is a monstrous flesh mountain, and all these other characters who are horror characters. So to see Poison Ivy on the cover, be like, yeah, it's Poison Ivy, you know what the deal is. That's not who she is, and that's not what's going on in the book at all, as is slowly revealed over the course of this. And so I thought that feint, that rug pull, was very well done. I also thought Eric Canete's art was a really good fit with Nick Dragotta, normally being on the title. And I love that Batman keeps kicking kids off of stuff. He punted that baby, and now I don't know if you can call her a kid, but he kicks Barbara Gordon off of a cliff. So there you go.
It sure does. Yeah. This crazy cool cover. So we got kind of a artist shift here for this, but it's really well done. The splash page of Poison Ivy's face is just incredible and gross and amazing. But yeah, we don't have beef Batman in this. You know what I mean? He's a little bit more kind of like Spawn a little bit.
Pretty beefy.
Oh, he's definitely beefy. But we kind of have like a wraparound cowl and we get double chainsaws Batman, which is awesome. I feel like that's still very absolute.
You want that action figure, right?
Yeah, I mean, that seems insane. But and I don't want to complain because I'm having a great time, but we're just getting kind of like every issue they're like, oh, and this villain, and this villain, and this villain. And I'm still back at Joker because like that Joker was so insane that I'm like, yeah, but what's he doing? Like, I can't enjoy what's happening.
I mean, it is, I will say, insane how much they are layering on in every issue, and it feels exciting every time.
Like, we could just get one panel of the Court of Owls. I was like, we can't! There's too much! I can't do more! I need... You're creating so many awesome characters. Let's just stay here. I'm
forgetting something, but as I mentioned, we got Poison Ivy, we got Barbara Gordon, we've got a scene with Jim Gordon and Martha Wayne making out. We've got him checking in with his friends, who now Penguin, who's been mangled, is running the Iceberg Lounge. Riddler isn't even answering riddles, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And Two-Face has his skull split in half, but left the hospital and is wandering around somewhere. Not to mention, there's Dick Grayson, who doesn't like Batman at all and is hanging out with somebody that I don't know who it is, but I want to say it's probably Rose Wilson, the daughter of Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
So there's a lot there. And then, like you said, at the end of the issue, they're like, and also the Court of Owls.
I was just like,
God damn. Oh, I forgot Harley Quinn and the Red Hood gang as well as there. So it's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff balancing.
There's so much happening.
But I do think it's a credit to Scott Snyder that he keeps all of these plates spinning. Like, maybe they'll come crashing down at some point, but right now it's really focused on Bruce's emotional journey contrasted with what Batman is going through and how the two intersect. He also, since Bane, and I love this part of the issue, there's been a turning point in the city where now the city is like, Batman's a celebrity. And he's very specific about like, that's not what I was supposed to be. I was just supposed to come here, do this mission and get out. Now I'm a symbol. So I actually do think Court of Owls is coming in at the right time because it's a different Court of Owls. I'm sure we're going to find out. They have a very different focus. And I imagine the reason for bringing them in has something to do with the city adopting Batman as their symbol. So we'll see what it is.
Here's my problem, okay?
Yeah.
I love all of this. But there is Joker Islands where he is trapping people and chasing them down.
He's also in it. He's also in it. They're like, welcome back, Jack Grimm, first son of Gotham. So we're checking in with him as well. Can I say, I've been throwing out a lot of metaphors. Here's what I think is going on. This is like, if I was like, hey, Pete, do you want to go to the 16 handles and put your mouth under the spout? You'd be like, hell yeah, I want to do that. And then you're there and you're like, that froyo is coming into your mouth. You're like, this is great. This is great. And at a certain point, you're like, actually, I don't know if I can breathe anymore. It's still delicious and I'm still eating it, but I'm probably going to die soon because there's yogurt all over my face.
Yeah.
Is that unfair? Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm kind of feeling like the guys on the floating recliners and was it the oh my god,
Idiocracy? Oh,
Wall-E.
You're thinking of Wall-E.
Wall-E.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the best. You're living your best life. Is your
yeah. And it's. I'm like, what is the milkshake today? You know what I mean? Like, you should probably stop. And I'm like, no, man, these are delicious.
Well, there's lots more coming, so
I can't wait. I need to know more about the Joker so I can kind of focus on everybody else, because everybody else has no problem being like, all right, we're going to talk about these villains. And I'm like,
the problem is you're going to have to wait, I think, because Joker is the big bad of the series, and he already in the Arkham special was like, I got to roll out these 4 or 5 other bad guys first.
It's like, oh, yeah.
It's going to be great. It's going to be so satisfying when he comes back and finally comes face to face with Batman. Very excited. All right. Why don't we move on and talk about the Muppets Noir, number one from Dynamite by Roger Langridge. We had Roger on the podcast for a special episode about a month back. You can listen to him talk about why he came back for the Muppets after his lauded run at Boom Studios, I want to say, back in the day. But the idea here is that Kermit is trying to just relax on the set of the Muppet Show when he gets hit by a brick and imagines that he is inside a film noir world as Flip Minnow, P.I., trying to track down Miss Piggy. This is a delight. Nobody does the Muppets like Roger Langridge. It's just jokes, mile a minute, particularly because Muppet Fever is hot right now with the Muppet Show being back. Just great.
Yeah, this was really well timed. So funny. They nailed the tone of this. It feels like the show in comic form. So well executed. Such a great idea. The Gonzo entrance. Oh my God. I was having such a great time. They do such a great job with this. It's in such great hands. Not only is it hysterical, but the animation, the art style is just so cool. It's exactly what you think it is, and it really delivers.
Well, and on the art style thing, I think it's great that Roger has his own specific takes on the Muppets that are not one-to-one with the puppets you see on screen, but they feel all a part of the world that he's put him in.
Yeah,
and it is just
noir.
Yeah. It's just fun. It's a lens. fun jokes per minute comic book. I don't know what I was saying there. It's good.
Jokes per page.
Jokes per page.
Panel.
Sure, something like that. End of Life, number one from DC Comics and Vertigo, written by Kyle Starks, art by Steve Pugh. We also had Kyle on the show a couple of months back for a special episode to talk about this book, so go back and listen to that. But this is about an assassin who, due to a botched job, is forced to run on to his hometown, only there's more weirdness waiting for him there. It's kind of like a Grosse Pointe Blank sort of thing, but way hepped up through the skewed lens of Kyle Starks. Pete, I think you really like this one. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You are not wrong. I won't correct you. Yeah, this is great. I also really love the kind of last twist that we get. This is just the first issue, but I'm really hoping this kind of turns into a rom-com kind of Grosse Pointe Blank situation, because it seems like that's what's being set up here. So fingers crossed. But yeah, I was really locked in by the end, going, oh, this seems great. We kind of have a douchebag type character, hopefully grow into being a better human being, and hopefully can hold down this relationship. But we'll see. We're getting ahead of ourselves here, Alex.
I have a question a little bit off of this, not to pry too much. How was your Valentine's Day, Pete? Everything okay? Feels like you're very focused on romance and happy endings right now.
Well, it's weird when you say happy endings. But
I mean like jerking off to completion. Sorry, that wasn't clear.
Oh, my God, you're a real asshole.
So sorry.
Yeah, I had this book, so my Valentine's was great. Thank you. Me and this book had a lovely time.
All right, great. And you felt like you got a happy ending from this book?
Stop.
Wolverine, Weapons of Armageddon, number one from Marvel, written by Chip Zdarsky, art by Luca Maresca. This is part of the kickoff to Marvel's big summer event called Armageddon that we don't know much about at this point, but this is the start of knowing stuff about it, as Wolverine goes on a semi-solo mission because somebody called Prime Warrior has kidnapped a mutant and is not exactly starting the Weapon X program, but is basically starting the Weapon X program, let's be honest. And in the middle of that, there is also Nuke is going to come in here, and David Colton, the Captain America of the 2000s that Chip Zdarsky introduced over in Captain America, is playing in here as well. So lots of characters going on. Pete, you're our Wolvie guy. What'd you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, we kind of get this start up here, and it's like you've said, we've seen this before, where Wolverine's drinking at a bar, and then they come up to him like, you're not going to believe this. And he's like, what? And like, they started the Weapon X program back up, and he was like, ah, damn it. how many times do I got to shut this motherfucker down? Oh, it keeps happening. So, and you're like, all right. So it seems like we're kind of building up towards this cover image here, which, cool. I love a premise that works. So, let's see if Wolverine
and this is Nuke fighting Wolverine with the Captain America shield. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the premise of Wolverine's got to stop this Weapon X program again. You know what I mean? So it's worked in the past.
Can't wait to see how that turns out.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, this works out for him. But yeah, Nuke, not my favorite character. I'll be interested to see if this gets better.
It is. I like the art in here. I think Luca Maresca did a good job drawing a Wolverine story. It does have all those classic beats that you mentioned, plus Wolverine walking through the snow and everything, whatever. It is in a different way that it was unfair of me to judge Ultimate Spider-Man on the entire span of the Ultimate universe. Here, I do feel like we need to have a little bit of an understanding of what Armageddon is, and I know we're in the ramp-up period now, but, what are we saying? What is the idea? What is the theme we're teasing? What is the thing that we're riffing off? I think there's some seeds that are being laid in a book we're going to talk about later on where I think it's a little clearer there what they're going for, but here, like you're saying, it's just another...
Well, it seems like
Wolverine story.
It seems like Wolverine's the Bruce Willis. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Where, he listen, we need drilling done, and you're the best there is. He's like, all right,
I guess so. I don't need to see another character with Wolverine claws and different types of adamantium that goes around his body in a different way.
Yeah, that part was very underwhelming. Where it was like the new Weapon X, and it's like. Okay, it's like Wolverine, but he's got floating metal around his arms, like it's like a barbed wire that can.
The problem is not in the execution of the book. Chip Zdarsky, solid writer. The art is good throughout the book. The problem is why are there basically 2 Wolverines and 2 to 3 Captain Americas in this issue? I don't know what's going on here. And also, they're talking about origin boxes, and there's a thing that's like. What do they say? See Reborn Ultimate Impact in May? And I'm like, bro, it's February. Give me a break here. Also, that is, I believe, probably going to be pushed down the line because the whole Ultimate Universe thing has been delayed. So, you're tying into an event of a thing that isn't going to happen until much later this year. It's that sort of confusion that's frustrating when you're coming to event storytelling versus telling the story that is the story, and that's what you're trying to tell. I know that was a very circular sentence, but I'll compare it directly to what we've lauded about DCKO, where they have all these spin-offs and all these lead up, but you can just read them. There's stories, they're good stories that you're reading, and you're like, oh, okay, I read Titans, and I like Titans, period. I read Aquaman, and I read it, period.
Alex, what do you think about this premise, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like, hey, Captain America? Well, we're not going to use Captain America. We're going to use a version that you haven't thought of in a while that wasn't that popular. Hey, Wolverine? Well, guess what? We're not going to use Wolverine. We're going to also use another version of Wolverine that maybe is new, but is kind of old, and maybe you'll like it. Hey, you remember the movie Armageddon? Well, guess what?
It has nothing to do with that. Absolutely nothing. Hey, do you guys remember the origin boxes, which came from Ultimate Spider-Man incursion out of the Ultimate Universe, spinning out of the Ultimates, but you won't find out what they're here for until May or so. Also, they say boob on the cover. It's true. Go take a look at it. It says the origin boxes. They say boob on the cover.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Congrats.
I'm just mentioning.
Did you just turn your calculator upside down? How did you get that?
I did. That's how I figured it out. Anyway, we're lumping on this a lot. It's fine.
The good news is it can save itself. It can get better. Sure. I'm here for it.
Yeah. I want to be sold. I always want to be reading good comic books and psyched for an event, but just calling it Armageddon and telling me it's about origin boxes. Here, I'm going to throw out an early prediction for you. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think whatever is going on in the series, it ends up with David Coulton getting this origin box and getting the power to reshape the Marvel universe.
I think Wolverine's going to have to be shot into space, and he's going to have to drill to save the world.
I think what's going to happen is Nuke is going to take some animal crackers and dance them up Wolverine's hairy chest. Well, I don't want to miss a thing, please. All right, let's move on. Smile for the Camera, #1 from IDW, written by Hannah Rose May, art by Miriana Puglia. This is tying into the Smile movies, specifically focusing on a group of fashion models who are all living in an apartment together and all trying to be famous as they go through Fashion Week and various gigs. They deal with aggressive photographers and other things. Pete, I imagine you have not seen the Smile movies, right?
Yeah, that is correct. And I took one look at this cover and said, nope. This is too scary for me. This is not something I should be reading. But luckily it was daytime out, so I felt brave enough to read it for the stack.
Given that you have no familiarity with Smile, what did you think about this?
I did not like it.
Oh, didn't like it like too scary, or didn't like it, period?
No, just didn't like it. It was too scary. Artwork is great. Love the bright colors. Really matches the kind of vibe. Crazy last panel. Wow. But if you're into this kind of shit, I think you'll like it.
So I've seen both of the Smile movies, and I didn't love the first one. The second one is fantastic, so good, excellent. Unfortunately, you kind of have to watch the first one to watch the second one to understand what's going on. The rules of the Smile universe are like a little weird and amorphous. They keep kind of tweaking and changing a little bit, but ultimately, if you see somebody with a Smile virus die, you catch it. And then you start seeing people who are smiling at you, either living or dead, who drive you insane until you kill yourself in front of somebody else, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of the thing here. The other thing is they are somewhat feminist tracts, which is what the first one missed the boat a little bit. It's supposed to be about rape culture, and it doesn't quite get there. The second one is about the music industry and absolutely nails it. And I think this one, that was a long preamble for this one about the fashion industry, I think does a really good job channeling that as well through the story. I do want to disagree with you about the art a little bit. I like the panels individually, but they're all on like these weird canted angles, and I found sometimes it's hard to follow the action in the book from panel to panel and page to page. It also may have needed more like place or time indicators, because sometimes you're flipping a page and they're just suddenly in a different place, or midway through a page they're in a different place, and I found that, again, a little hard to follow, a little off-putting, but overall, I do like this story. I do think this is a good continuation of the Smile universe. Next up, Exquisite Corpses, #10 from Image Comics, written by Jordie Bellaire and James Tynion IV, art by Marianna Ignazzi with Michael Walsh. It is coming down to it. We're getting towards the final 4 serial killers in this small town who are supposed to kill each other, and then also everybody in the town. We are very much focusing on the townspeople more in this issue. Pete, what'd you think?
Love the art, like powerful red panels, colors really set like a sinister tone. Damn, that bunny is no joke. Amazing art. This is dark and twisted, but also fantastic. So, yeah.
I feel about the non-serial killers in this book, for the most part, like the humans in a Godzilla movie. I just don't care, like, at all. So when they kill one of the characters that's been around for the first issue, I was like, all right, great. Now I don't need to keep track of that guy, which is very unfair. But I do think the killers are so distinct, it's hard to care about anybody else, and we're supposed to. That said,
yeah, you're supposed to care about the humans.
You are. Well, they're all humans. That said, there is a scene between our errant EMT, who's picked up a gun, and one of the guys behind the games who is inside, that I thought mythology-wise was really interesting, the way that that played out, and very tense. That was my favorite scene in the issue.
All right. My favorite scene was the rabbit.
All right, there we go. Now we've said our favorite scenes, and we can move on.
All right.
Superman Unlimited, #10 from DC Comics, written by Dan Slott, art by Mike Norton. There's a new prankster in town, and he is gutting for, you're not going to believe this, Superman.
What?
I
Come
know.
on.
I know.
I didn't
and
see
Clark
that coming.
Kent.
I didn't see that coming.
This series is fun. I really like the Prankster arc in particular. I think it leans into Dan Slott's strengths and Mike Norton, who has a very engaging, more cartoony style, I thought was a perfect match here for this story. I like this a lot.
Yeah, I agree. The art sets such a kind of fun tone for Dan Slott's writing style. We kind of got that classic, kind of reminds me of old school comic books a little bit, where Superman gets himself into trouble, and then it's like, oh, it's a good thing I have this new gold superpower to use to get me out of this very specific jam. But yeah, I like the tongue-in-cheek of this, and, this is great. Very enjoyable.
Generation X-23, #1 from Marvel, written by Jody Houser, art by Jacopo Camagni. This is following X-23 as well as Gabby, as they are kind of teaming up and meeting a bunch of new mutants. There's a bunch of twists in this book, including a seeming clone, perhaps, of a time-traveling mutant. That's the simple way of putting it, that Laura knew in the past, a reveal of some new mutants that really changes what the concept of the book might be. What did you think about this one, Pete?
Yeah, I like this. I thought it was fun. Great art style. Cool kind of team-up book. Love the twist of the last panel. Solid art, great vibes. I love X-23, so it's great to see her in a kind of on a good team here. So, yeah, I'm excited for this.
I'm curious to see where this is going. It feels like it sets up at least 3 or 4 different concepts, and it keeps being like, no, that's not what the book's about. No, that's not what the book's about. So I really do want to read a second issue to know what the book is about once they're past that. But I do like Laura. I like Gabby. There's some interesting action sequences, particularly there's a great, I want to say it's a double-page splash, where Laura jumps through this time portal and you get to see all the different versions of her, which I thought was pretty cool. There is a staccato rhythm to the speech that I found a little blunt sometimes, but maybe that's just how Laura speaks, So
Interesting.
White Sky, #1 from Image Comics, written by William Harms, art by J.P. Mavinga. This is about a father and daughter who, it's not immediately clear, I would say, from this issue, but are until you read the back matter, but are traveling through a post-apocalypse where ghosts have frozen the world and create snow, and they're trying to hide from the ghosts. Did you pick up on that, Pete?
Not really, but I tell you what, that is a fucked up last panel. God damn. That was crazy. That really spooked me, melted my brain a little bit. Some kind of intense stuff. It really makes you think, if you're stuck in the post-apocalyptic world, you better have salt. You know what I mean? Because you got to make a circle, and that's the only thing that's going to save you, apparently.
I liked this book, and I thought the world was very interesting. There's some pretty terrifying creatures throughout, and some interesting humans and weird things going on. You've got the classic grizzled old guy and young girl traveling through a wasteland, Last of Us situation type thing going on. So that's all good. Reading the back matter and then being like, this is about ghosts that freeze the world. I was like, is it? Okay, if you say so.
Well, it's still the first-ish, It's still got stuff.
That's the thing that I was thinking about, is like, with a movie, you could be a little coy about that thing and pace it out over the course of an hour and a half or something like that, right? With a comic book, I don't know how many pages this is exactly, but you've got like 20, max 30 pages most times to hook people in the first issue. And so it made me think about like how much exposition about your world is necessary. And not that I particularly like somebody being like, it was all over once the ghosts froze everybody, at the beginning of the book. Like, I don't need that. But I do think there's a halfway point between we're wandering a snowy wasteland. Why is it there? Who knows? And also being like, ghosts did this,
Yeah.
And that's cool. That's a cool concept. I'd love to know a little more of that beyond the authors afterward, is all I'm saying.
Well, I think that they just set up that last panel to be like, fucking tune in to see what the fuck this is about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't know if you can do that with a comic book. I think, like, particularly with the first issue
gonna find
of the comic
out.
book.
We're going to find out, buddy.
All right. We're going to read White Sky #2.
Yeah, and then we'll be able to be like, well, we were right or we were wrong. You know what I mean?
I mean, we're right. He says it. The author says it. There isn't a question about it.
We're going to find out.
Spooky Cold Ghosts. They should have called it that. Oh. This book should have been called Spooky Cold Ghosts. Really messed up. All right. Black Panther 60th Anniversary Special #1 from Marvel, written by Evan Narcisse, Cody Ziegler, Merwa Yodeling, Priest. Art by George Giante, Aletha E. Martinez, Eder Messias, and Javier Pina. The Peens?
The Peeners?
Pete, you love this issue, right?
Aletha E. Martinez? She's actually amazing.
Great.
Yeah, we've interviewed him, talked to him. Yeah, this is very exciting. I was really happy with not only the teams on this, but the collection of stories that we got in here. The second one, the Cody Ziegler story, was really awesome. Man, just very kind of touching, kind of a father type figure there with Black Panther. Then the fourth one, oh my God, the love story was Storm was so good. And then the last one with Priest was just, oh man, the Magneto team up. This is just such a great celebration of this character, I feel like, and they took some big swings and had some cool moments. So I thought they did such a great job.
I love when you flip the page in an anthology comic book like this and you see there's like the second panel is a black box with white text in it giving seemingly incongruous words, and you're like, oh, hell yeah, it's a Priest story. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. Easily identifiable. I did like that one the best. I thought Magneto and Black Panther like grinding against each other was... There was a lot of really good tension there that I thought was interesting. And this is a good anthology. I also am very intrigued. I don't think they're doing it alone. Like DC did it for Pride as well, kind of. But this new way of doing anthologies where one story bleeds into the next one is kind of fascinating. I don't know. I like it. I like the format that they're playing with here. So that's working for me.
Cool.
Minor Arcana, #14 from Boom Studios by Jeff Lemire. Lots of stuff going down this issue, as there is every issue of Minor Arcana, as our main character reunites with an old flame and some dark forces are gathering around her. I always love Jeff Lemire's art. I have a hard time hooking into the series sometimes because this issue, there's a lot. There's either like not enough going on by issues or too much going on, and I wish it would find a happy medium, but I still like it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this. I feel like the art is so good. Jeff Lemire is doing both on this, so it's just such a feels like him kind of book, which I love. Just the cover we see here sets such a cool tone for this. I love the art. I love the story. This is just great drama. I'm eating this up with a fork and knife here. This is just so good. I cannot wait for the next issue. I thought like the ramp up in this issue and everything was so great. I'm having a good time with this.
Uncanny X-Men #24 from Marvel, written by Gail Simone, art by David Marquez. This is the second part of a story that is found classic-style monsters invading New Orleans to take it over at the behest of a new master, and the only thing that stands in their way, of course, is the X-Men. But because it's Marvel, you got like Morbius the Living Vampire, Elsa Bloodstone, Werewolf by Night, the actual real Frankenstein. Not the doctor, but the monster. Let's just be clear. Come on, you can call the monster Frankenstein. It's okay. It's 2026, everybody. Frankenstein. And meanwhile, this is it's a little different structure, this issue, but we're still getting this rawhide kid story that's being told to the outliers, at least at the beginning of the issue. At the same time, I gotta say, I love this arc. This might be my favorite arc of Uncanny X-Men so far. Wow. This is just... hitting on every cylinder. The art's great. The story is great. I think these are great enemies, particularly because like most of them are usually kind of good guys. So there's a tension there of, why are you guys doing this? Leave the X-Men alone. And man, it ends with a killer last panel that you can see coming from a mile away, but it doesn't matter because it's still so satisfying when it happens.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I also love this and surprised how much I'm loving this, but what's funny is I saw this cover and I was like, oh no, the Morbius movie was so bad that it's kind of ruined this character for me. I didn't realize that until I saw this image and I was like, oh no, I can't enjoy this character without my first thought being like, fuck, I hated that movie, you know? So I didn't realize that till I picked this up, but that aside,
can I just say something? It's funny. That didn't occur to me at all. But so there's two characters on the cover for anybody who's listening to the audio podcast. It's Morbius about to bite Jubilee. I didn't think about the Morbius thing at all. The only thing I thought about was like, oh man, Jubilee, right? She was a vampire. That's annoying. So it's just funny that there's two characters on the cover and we each were annoyed by entirely different things.
Yeah. But still had a great time with this comic, and I think that's the important thing. But yeah, the Wolverine versus Werewolf is so fun, and then the last panel, which is great. Yeah, I'm very excited about where this is going and what it's kind of setting up. So it seems like a blast, and it seems like Gail Simone is killing it and having so much fun with it. So
come on, Simone, I would say.
Come on, Simone. Yeah, this is fun. More, please.
Titans, number 32 from DC Comics, written by John Layman, art by Pete Woods. I believe it's the final issue of this team's run on the title. It's a DC KO tie-in. They're wrapping it up before we're kicking into a new Titans that is going to come out of the other end of DC KO. There's going to be a big mystery about their roster. We don't know what's going on there yet, but this is them in the middle of the DC KO. Titans together one last time. What'd you think, Pete?
Well, I like this. I loved all the action, great art, touching ending. You know, this is a solid comic. Get it? That's a terror joke. Yeah, so this is fun. I
like the second half of it a little bit better. The first part, when it was everybody doing a lot of different stuff at like Gem World and a lot of different other places, felt like these are all fine on their own, but it really literally and figuratively came together when everybody joins together and fights in the DC KO apocalypse. So that worked for me. And I agree with you. I thought there was a nice button put on this, but I am excited and curious to see what the new team has in store. Mm-hmm. Deadly Hands of Kunlun at number 1 from Marvel, written by Yifan Yang, art by Paco Medina. In this, somebody is killing the deadly weapons, and so it is up to multiple Iron Fists to all join together to find out what's going on and try to stop them. Oh boy, there's a lot going on in this issue, Pete.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters, a lot of stuff happening, tons of action, setting things up. Great arc. I'm excited to see how this is going to all shake out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. This is
it's a lot.
This is too much for me.
Yeah, it's a lot. But I felt like,
oh,
look at that guy.
I felt like you every time you go to 16 Handles, Pete, we're reading this book because it was just like a nonstop spout of information about Iron Fist going on here.
Yeah.
Where I don't know. There's individual pockets that like popped out, like the way that they kill several of our favorite characters. I was like, geez, that's brutal.
Yeah.
And I wish we had focused it on more, like spent more time on the gravity of that happening versus piling on
the brutal murders. You love that part? Is that what you're saying?
Well, just like the repercussion of that. And then the fact that we're like, and then we're over in hell or wherever Danny Rand is. And then we're back with like, there's a young Iron Fist and a slightly older Fist. And neither of them are Danny Rand. And they're talking about Danny Rand all the time. And also there's another guy and he has the Iron Fist thing on his chest and he's somebody's brother. And at a certain point I was like, this is is too much mythology. This is about, I don't know if you remember, this is about a guy with an iron fist. Yeah. This should not be that complicated. And I know it has gotten that complicated. Maybe the point of the series is to unravel and simplify some of that, but it's a lot. And because it's a lot, I don't get a lot of time to enjoy the individual action beats, I think, is the problem here.
Yeah, I'm hoping once they've kind of gotten this all out and then start dealing with where the story is going and that kind of stuff, it will calm down and we can kind of focus in on a couple people, because it's a lot of spinning plates.
Yep. Death Fight Forever, #1 from Image Comics, written by Andrew MacLean, art by Alexis Surratt, Al Gaffa, Sam McKenzie, Erwin Papa. This is from your boy, Headlopper himself, Andrew MacLean, now taking on 80s style video games like Street Fighter and Double Dragon and others, as well as a little bit of, you got some He-Man in there, you got some G.I. Joe, stuff like that. Just like 80s in a blender, basically, is what's going on here.
Oh, that's a great way to put it. It's like Double Dragon meets He-Man in an 80s action B movie, but I like yours better.
Yes, and I'll tell you what, it is great. It totally nails it. It is so funny, and it gets funnier as it goes on, because it starts as like straightforward parody, just sort of presenting stuff, but it gets more and more ridiculous, particularly in the second half of the issue. There's so many things that happen that made me laugh out loud. This is embracing all of those tropes, embracing all of these things we talked about and loving them, but absolutely skewering them at the same time. This is a blast.
It's over the top fun. The colors, the brightness, it's all very kind of 80s fun, over the top. It's great. It knows what it is. And also I appreciated that in the beginning, because it's like, hey, you might be thinking about Headlopper. Don't worry, you're getting some in April. And I was just like, oh, great. Thank you for kind of letting me off the hook and being like, I
it
can
was
relax
to you. It was like, hey,
and just read this now that I know, like, oh, great. I can have that in April. I can just focus on this. So
I think more people should address you personally, Pete, in the front of the book.
I felt very seen.
Get past
I felt very taken care of. And it was great.
For
it was
sure.
Really nice, yeah.
Great art in here as well, and lovely coloring job. It's all very bright and neon. It reminded me a little bit of a Shaky Kane book, a bit. Just over the top action, fun, really well drawn. Cannot wait for the next issue, because there's some ludicrous twists and turns. Luda. Captain America #7 from Marvel, written by Chip Zdarsky, art by Delio Diaz and Frank Alpizar. In this issue, Captain America is with a small SHIELD team in Latveria, trying to find out if they've been weaponized. Meanwhile, various forces are fighting for control of Latveria, and Red Hulk is waiting right outside the borders to come in. Was the title I was talking about earlier that is also walking the way up to Armageddon. And I would say, versus the Wolverine thing, I think this does it a little more successfully in terms of delving into the interesting tensions that are going on behind the scenes, or in front of the scenes in some cases, in Latveria. I was not the biggest fan of One World Under Doom, but I do think the Fallout stuff has been very interesting dealing with that here. The one quibble I have is Captain America. I don't know why Chip Zdarsky, and it was the same thing with the first arc as well. There's a lot of Captain America being like, oh boy, this is a complicated situation. Guess I gotta do nothing. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe do something.
He's just trying to think things out, man.
Yeah, I know, but go ahead, Pete.
I first off, cool cover. Last panel twist was fun. Great art. I felt like this felt like a good Captain America book. I'm excited to see what's going to happen here. I love this kind of Red Hulk and Fury and Doctor Doom and all of this. So, yeah, I'm excited to see where this is going. We got a bunch of stuff kind of going on, but I felt like it dealt with it in a good way, where we're kind of still keeping forward momentum as we're kind of dealing with it. So, yeah, I enjoyed this, and I'm excited for more.
Star Trek: The Last Starship, number 5 from IDW, written by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, art by Adrian Bonilla. This is taking place in the period after the burn that has destroyed most of the dilithium in the universe, so people cannot travel at warp speed anymore. And the last issue we saw how our ship, the Omega, was taking people from the universe and transporting them to one planet they call Babel so they can have a conference and figure out what to do. For them, 15 to 20 years have passed. For the Omega, it's only been a couple of weeks, if not months, because of some time dilation. So by the time they get there, a lot has changed and they're not prepared for it. I continue to really like this series. I thought this was a great, classic Star Trek diplomacy issue with a really neat sci-fi twist that led to a pretty dark ending. And there's just a killer last panel here as well. So I continue to really, really enjoy this series. But what about you, Pete?
Yeah, taking the words right out of my mouth. Great last panel. Love the art. Love the characters. Also, the artist does such great facial stuff where you know these characters so well that you can kind of read their face and understand what's happening. It's just really impressive artistically. There was also some really great splash pages that felt very epic. This just continues to be really great, and it's in great hands. So. Yeah, this is impressive.
The one thing I would say, which is not a negative of the book, I actually think it's a positive, is it's crazy that this book is we have a Borg queen and a resurrected Captain Kirk and they're making out. Don't worry about that. We're going to follow some other people. I'm I don't know. I'd love to know more about that.
Well, this seems pretty interesting.
That seems pretty interesting. But there's so much going on in this book and so much that is fascinating. The fact that that's bubbling in the background and that's just literally at points right behind the main characters. That's just this thing that's going to pop at some point, and I'm so excited to see how it does.
Yeah.
Dungeons of Doom, number 2 from Marvel, written by Benjamin Percy and Philip Kennedy Johnson, art by Carlos Magno, George Gianti, Justin Mason, Robert Gill, and Carl Story. This is taking place under Latveria while Captain America was over Latveria, as a bunch of different characters are wandering through the titular Dungeons of Doom, either trying to protect, shut down, or take some of the treasures that he has hidden in there. It is very much a horror series as they discover some really terrible things that have been down in the dungeon. I thought this issue was even better than the last issue. Pete?
Yeah, this is awesome. Exciting twists and turns. The just kind of conchu of it all was crazy. The discovery of the different kinds of stuff that they find is really cool. I was just really impressed by the pace of this and the kind of different stuff that happened and the use of characters for each kind of setup. So yeah, I thought this was awesome.
Well, the art is very modern, but it's clearly going for a old school, what was it called? Tomb of Horror?
Yeah.
Type thing with the chapter markings and everything. And I think they're absolutely nailing that tone. The only question I have out of this book, Pete, and maybe you have an answer to this one, is when did Doom have time to build all this stuff? He just got these crazy,
he's got
tunnels.
robots for days.
I know. What is he doing? I guess he used the robots. Okay.
Yeah.
And he was robots, build me a temple to Khonshu.
Yeah.
And also a snake spout water slide thing.
Exactly.
Stuff like that. All right. Got to get some robots.
You got to get the snake spout. I mean, you can't,
Man, if only there was some sort of robot in modern society that could just take care of stuff for me. I'm sure there would be no problems with it.
Oh, boy.
Wonder Woman, number 30 for DC Comics, written by Stephanie Williams, art by Jeff Spokes. This is the second part of a 2-part arc where the ladies of Themyscira are trying to protect little baby Trinity, but unfortunately she is under attack by one of the Greek gods. Great art in this issue. Nothing against Stephanie Williams' writing, which is really solid, and there's good characterization throughout. But man, Jeff Spokes has some killer art. There's a panel of Wonder Woman and Nubia jumping at the baddie at the same time that just rocks, man.
Yeah, you can almost hear music playing while it's happening, Yeah, just amazing art, keep the classic, keeping a baby safe, you know what I mean? It's a tough job, it is a Tough job.
Classic keeping a baby safe. Things that humans are born to do.
Safe, man.
Fucking biological imperative, man.
Jesus. But I do love this part of like talking about how like innocence hurts evil. I thought that was such a cool idea, and it just kind of struck me in the middle of this kind of cool, insane comic that that could happen. So, but yeah, just love it. Just fun last panel, great art, great writing. This is cool.
Amazing Spider-Man number 22 from Marvel, written by Joe Kelly, art by Nick Bradshaw, Todd Knock, and Nathan Stockman. Spider-Man is back on Earth, trying to figure out exactly what's been going on in his absence as he tries to track down Aunt May, tangles with Ben Reilly, and things go a little wrong for his alien companions, and that's what I'll say to start. Man, I'm so glad his alien friends are with him because I like those characters. So I'm happy they're continuing. That's fun.
Oh, that's nice. For me, it all made it worth it for that sweet hug at the end. I mean, that was just...
You don't like the fact that Peter is making out with an alien chick who likes ice cream instead of Mary Jane. Is that your deal?
I don't remember reading that part. I must have blocked that out.
Okay. I like her. I like the alien chick. I think she's better than Mary Jane, and I think she and Peter are endgame.
Dare you?
I want to see them get married in Shea Stadium by a resurrected Stan Lee. That's what I want to see happen.
Oh, my God. That's blasphemous.
Anyway, this is great. Every issue of this is really solid and good. Joe Kelly's knocking it out of the park. American Caper, number 4 from Dark Horse Comics, written by Dan Houser and Laszlo, art by David Lapham. In this issue, at least for part of it, we're flashing back in time and finding out how our conspiracy-addled mob became so conspiracy-addled. Meanwhile, in the present, a bunch of folks are tracking down each other, leading to a violent confrontation in a living room, which is why, personally, I never go into living rooms. Pete, what did you think about this?
Wow, dude, I don't know.
Gotta stay safe.
Avoid living rooms. That would be a tough life.
You go around.
A lot of things happen in the living room. So
you go from front hall directly to the stairs. If you got to go downstairs, you crawl out the window and come back in.
Oh, wow. That's intense, Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. All right. Fuck, that's a crazy way to end a comic. God damn, that last panel is fucking crazy. Hoo. Great art, messed up story. It's a twisted tale. Great writing, but fuck, that ending was crazy, man. I don't know if I can say it enough times.
It is pretty crazy what happens towards the end of this issue. It is uber violent throughout. I am curious to see overall what they are saying with this book. Like, not to cut to the ending or anything like that, but I think there's a lot of balls in the air right now, and I'm curious to see where they all land. I don't know how long it's going on for. Maybe it is an ongoing series, but I guess we'll see. America doesn't end, and neither does American Caper.
Well, we'll see. Knock on wood.
I
don't jinx America, bro.
We had an okay 250 year run. Actually, not great. Let's be honest. Fantastic Four number 8 from Marvel, written by Ryan North, art by Humberto Ramos. The Fantastic Four got a weird signal from Galactus and are headed off to meet him, but meanwhile, we get at first what seems to be a origin of the Fantastic Four, but it turns out there's a planet on the other side of the universe that had the exact same development as Earth, except with one minor difference. Invisible Woman became more and more powerful until she realized she could control electromagnetic waves and accidentally killed everybody on Earth except Johnny Storm, who lobotomized her, and then she killed him, and now she's coming for the Fantastic Four as the Invincible Woman. That's pretty wild, Dad.
Yeah, it's really wild, and this character is fucked up, but God, Humberto Ramos's art is phenomenal. So I'm in a tough spot with this.
This is a really dark story, and it's the dark story the way only Ryan North could tell it. I thought it was an interesting concept that, if you think too hard about it, doesn't make a lot of sense, that like there was another Fantastic Four for this long. why have we never met them before, even if they're very, very far away, and the universe has gotten larger, as Galactus explains, but it's fine. It's comics. It's not a big deal. The bigger thing is I really would love to know what the conversation about the Invincible Woman that led to this was at Marvel, because it's not Malice, the evil version of Sue Storm that showed up in the John Byrne run, likely because that's really controversial and people don't necessarily love that now, but the Malice costume in the Marvel Rivals game is really popular. So I have to imagine there was like, hey, is there any way we can bring back Malice without bringing back Malice? And this is what they ended up with.
Wow.
But I don't know. That's just me speculating, man.
Oh, wow.
We'll see. Everything's Marvel Rivals. It's all coming up Marvel Rivals. G.I. Joe, number 19 from Skybound and Image Comics, written by Joshua Williamson, art by Andrea Milana. Picking up after the Dreadnought War, Duke has just found a Transformer, and he is not very happy about it. He wants to arrest that Transformer. Meanwhile, we're continuing to bubble up the storyline of Mask and Miles Mayhem and meeting more characters there. Pete, what'd you think?
Yeah, first off, I mean, this cover, you don't try to headbutt a Transformer. That's not going to work out.
I think they're like forehead to forehead, right? They're like, ooh.
Yeah, that's probably better, right? When I would say good. But, this is fun. Scrap Iron, what an entrance, bro. I mean, it seemed like you fucked up a whole race just for an entrance, but man, love that energy. Fun times, great art. I love this. Younger self is having an amazing nostalgia bath, and I don't want this to end. This is so much fun.
My older self, who prefers showers, is also enjoying this. I think there's really good storytelling in here, and I like all the stuff that they're throwing in. Like we found out that Zartan, the master of disguise, is pretending to be the head of G.I. Joe.
I love how you have to learn these names. This makes me so happy.
I know Zartan. I actually know more about G.I. Joe than I let on, Pete. Okay?
Oh, well, that's not fun.
We're all playing characters for the show. Pete's actually a very effete businessman. Anyway, I think that gives it a nice amount of tension running through those scenes. I do wish we hadn't cut away from the mask stuff, because that feels like that came over from Transformers, and I like what's going on at G.I. Joe, and I would like to read more of that, but c'est la vie. X-Men, number 25 from Marvel, written by Jed McKay, art by Tony S. Daniel and Augustine Alessio. In this issue, the X-Men decide to take some action on what Cyclops found out during the Age of Revelation. They're going to try to track down Doug Ramsey and stop that before it starts. But in the process, they run into Fenris, who are white supremacist mutants now in the desert, and fight them, leading to some other revelations, a new leader of one. And then in the short backup story, Beast meets his evil self. So there you go. Pete.
So this comic starts off with Cyclops being a dick, giving a lecture. It's a tough way to start. But great art, though. Love the look of these X-Men. Fighting Nazis is always fun, so the great action stuff, it makes a great kind of turn. But then once we started talking about the Crimson Commando kind of showing up, it got a little weird for me.
I agree with you on that. That felt like another thing going on when the Fenris stuff was so clear and so fun. Yeah. You know, I said this was with the Cyclops miniseries. The thing that I liked about the Cyclops miniseries, or at least the first issue, was that the Reavers are like, ooh, I hate those X-Men, and that's their motivation. The fact that Fenris, like you're saying, are like, we're white supremacist mutants, period. And that's nice, simple, I can understand it. The X-Men are like, well, that sucks. Yeah. Let's beat you up.
Yeah.
Not everything needs to be that simple, but I think X-Men in general is stronger there. When you move in a guy like Red Commando, who I barely remember, to be honest with you, and he's like, I run one. I'm like, I still don't know what one does exactly. We're starting to get back into that vague territory of what is everybody's motivation here? Why are we doing this? So I don't know. That's a bummer. I will say, I'm sure you didn't like the backup story because you don't like Evil Beast, but I thought the painted art in here was really gorgeous.
The painted art was awesome. Yeah.
And
it's just like the reveal of like, what's Beast has been so fucked up. He's been doing so many things in the shadows. You're like, oh yeah, what's the evil reveal? Evil Beast. It's like, you fuckers.
Well, but we already knew, the reader already knew it was Evil Beast. So I like the idea that our good Beast is like, nah, I'm not going to waste any time here. Let's talk to my other self and get this done. And that potentially puts him in a bad situation because he's eventually going to become him, or puts our heroes in a good situation. Whatever it is, I actually am very interested in that. I like that. I'm curious to see where that goes.
I don't like when Beast is evil, and I don't want to see a story arc of him turning evil.
Well, too late.
Yeah.
Carmen Red Claw, Belly of the Beast, #2 from Dark Horse Comics, written by Mike Mignola and Ray Allen, art by Ray Allen. This is a supernatural Western featuring the creepiest baby ever put to the comic book page. I love that baby, man. He's a creep-azoid.
That's a fucking creepy baby.
Creepy baby. He's got these big
congratulations
eyes.
on your creepy baby. I'm sorry. You go ahead.
No, I was just going to say creepy baby a couple more times. Go ahead, please.
Well, this is great. I love the art, love the characters. This main character, she's such a badass. I love that exit that she makes here. Just like killing monsters, just walks out like, gentlemen, does the old, nod of the cap there. Just hilarious, great. And I also love the beat after where like, was that a talking lizard? Just fun, badass, kind of cool moments, great art. This is a whole vibe, and I feel like they nail it.
And last but not least, Side Dimensional Rivals, #2 from Marvel by Peach Momoko, Asad Rabish, and Natasha Bustos. We are following the old-timey version of Psylocke that Peach Momoko created as she is tumbling through the multiverse. Each time she falls, they are depicted by a new artist-writer combo. And she's trying to track down, I don't think they're calling them Infinity Stones, but they're Infinity Stones. This is another tie-in, sort of, to Marvel Rivals, if you could believe it. But, man, the art is gorgeous in this. And I also really enjoy all the dimensions that we fall into this issue, particularly the Natasha Bustos sort of like teen Marvel Universe thing is very fun, and I would love to see more of that.
Yeah, I mean, great use of like changing dimensions for changing artists. It's just such a cool, well-executed idea. I mean, worth it for the art alone. The picturesque art is just so beautiful. Amazing colors. Just really, really enjoyable storytelling and art. I could stay in this world for a very long time. It's quite nice.
I agree. And that is it for the stack. If you'd like to support this podcast and all the podcasts we do, patreon.com/comic book club. Also, we do a live show every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. to Facebook and YouTube. Come hang out. We would love to chat with you about comic books. Apple, Spotify, Android, or the app of your choice to subscribe, listen, and follow the show. comicbookclublive.com for this podcast and many more. Until next time, we'll see you at the Comic Book Club.
Yeah.
Blow your